So I'm Jacqueline Jensen-Vallon. This is Angie Hodge. We are your co-chairs of the programming committee for this year's Legacy of R.L. Moore Conference, and we're going to take a few minutes and be as brief as we can to give you a welcome and overview of what the conference is going to be like this year. So how many of you are first-time conference attendees? Wow, welcome. How many of you would consider yourself to be new users of inquiry-based learning techniques? Welcome. This first day is designed for you guys, by the way. And how many Project Next fellows in the room? Excellent. And so those of you who weren't new users must be in this category, right? How many experienced users in the room? We wanted to make sure we got everybody, right? So welcome to everybody. We're very excited to have you here.
And this program is similar to other years and will still have a lot of excellent plenary sessions. A lovely banquet and intriguing banquet speaker tonight to kick off the evening. Contributive paper sessions in many topics, so whether you're a new user or experienced user or somewhere in between, you should find a contributed paper session where you'll learn something there. Roundtable discussions in IBL in different courses. Opportunities to meet and other dedicated educators and discuss ideas. We have also added in some more break time so you can talk to people in between and hopefully make some IBL connections there. And we will still have the 5-minute talks. We have 3 half-hour sessions where you have 5-minute talks. We encourage you to start. I think I've already seen people starting to sign up for the 5-minute talks in the hallway, and those are kind of an unplanned, unstructured. You come and you talk about what you maybe have done in IBL or questions you have, and you have exactly 5 minutes to talk about those. We do have a few changes to the program this year, and so let us know some feedback, whether what you like, what you don't like about the changes. We are having fewer plenary sessions. We still will have some good ones, but fewer ones. Longer roundtable discussions for more in-depth conversation, and Brian's going to tell you a little bit about that.
Hello, everyone. Try again. Hello, everyone. Hi. So for me, the roundtables are sort of the heart of this conference where we mix up and we share the wisdom that we have. So I'm going to try to emphasize that a little bit more this year. When you get to breakfast tomorrow morning, there will be course topic names on the table. So sit at a table associated with a topic that you're interested in. And then after breakfast, we'll move to the roundtable. I'm thinking of it like we're running an IBL class on teaching IBL, so going a little meta. And we'll have 2 big questions. One is, inspired by Sandra Larson, what big problems were you trying to solve that led you to use inquiry-based learning? And what problems do you have now that you're using inquiry-based learning? So what were your objectives, and what are the new things you need help with? So those are the questions for your pre-work for tomorrow's class.
Thank you, Brian. And we also have 3 longer workshop sessions running parallel to the contributed paper sessions. And in these workshop sessions, everyone running it has said it's okay to go in and out. So we want you to go to as many different things as you can of interest. So if there's a workshop that interests you, but you don't want to spend the entire time, you can go spend 1 or 2 sessions there and then sneak out to another contributed paper session that you think is good to go to. So that's not considered rude and even encouraged to go to different things. And again, more parallel sessions and contributed paper sessions, so we can have as many people as we can in the audience here participating in the conference, sharing their ideas, discussing their ideas with other people. And there will also be a live Twitter feed, thanks to Randy Cohn, and he'll be giving updates about the conference on that as well. And that leads us to this year's theme. We are IBL.
You guys were supposed to read much more We Are Marshall into that and help us, but okay, we'll try it again later. We do want to thank all the people who helped us plan this year's conference. This is not by any stretch all of them, but these are the people who are officially on the program committee. Those of you in the room, can you raise your hands, program committee people? Excellent. If any of you have questions about how things are going or comments, feel free to talk to them at any point during the conference. They'll be happy to listen and pass your comments and questions along. And thanks to the Educational Advancement Foundation, Norma, Judy, Albert, and the rest of their staff have been truly amazing in putting everything together. So before we even get started, let's take a second and thank them. And as somebody who has been very influenced by this conference over the whole length of my career, really, I want to thank both the Mathematical Association of America and the Educational Advancement Foundation, and Mr. Harry Lucas in particular, for their support of this conference. They're putting it on every year. For those of you who are first-time attendees, you'll know why at the end. So we're going to invite Michael Pearson, Executive Director of the MAA, up to add a few words.
Thank you, Jackie, Angie. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I appreciate the opportunity for MAA to participate in this. Mr. Lucas has been a longtime supporter of MAA and Project Next, and it's great to have an opportunity to share the hosting for this event. So I want to say a couple of words about some things that are going on that I think this community has a role, will have a role in. So just over a year ago, the President's Council on Advisors of Science and Technology released a report called Engage to Excel. They called in that report for the U.S. to produce 1 million additional STEM graduates, that's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, over the next 10 years. It's a pretty big order. And there were a number of there were 5 overarching recommendations that John Holdren, the President's Science Advisor, emphasized in his letter when he delivered the report to the President. One was to catalyze widespread adoption of empirically validated teaching practices. 2 was to advocate and provide support for replacing standard lab courses with discovery-based research courses. 3 was to launch a national experiment in post-secondary mathematics education to address the mathematics preparation gap. 4 was to encourage partnerships among stakeholders to diversify pathways to STEM careers. And finally, to create a presidential council on STEM education with leadership from the academic and business communities to provide strategic leadership for transformative and sustainable change in STEM undergraduate education. Of course, you'll hear some themes not only just specifically about mathematics, but about engaging students in the classroom that are relevant for this community. And I think it's important that we engage in this conversation. But there were some real challenges to the math sciences community in that report as well. Last fall, the National Research Council produced a report on disciplinary-based education research. Mathematics was noticeably absent from the producers of that report. And in fact, some of the folks who had been involved in the PCAST report and were also at least behind the scenes involved in that report felt that mathematics in particular was way behind in terms of trying to understand how students learn mathematics effectively. Frankly, I think they don't know much about this community and the work that's been done over a long period of years to think about engaging students in the classroom. And I have made that point to a couple of people there. And I think there remains some work to be done. Just this week, a report was released by the Business and Higher Education Forum with support from the Office of Naval Research. It's called the U.S. STEM Undergraduate Model, to begin to think about ways to address the call for 1 million more STEM graduates by 2020. And in that report, which has the White House's ear, they point out that reaching that goal will require a large-scale disruption of undergraduate education practices. Now, do I believe that all of these reports from policymakers and business leaders necessarily take into account the reality that we deal with every day in the classroom and at our institutions? No, but nevertheless, it's absolutely critical that we in the math sciences community engage productively in this conversation. And I think in particular, this community, the IBL community, has the experience to engage in that discussion. And I think one of the things that I've observed over the years, watching this event in particular, but also just in seeing through the growth and the involvement of Project Next and other early career faculty members, is that we're beginning to understand that there's broad variation in practice. There's broad varieties of ways to engage students in active learning in the classroom. And some of the research that the Educational Advancement Foundation has supported over the last few years has demonstrated that to be the case. So I think that's good news, and I think we need to continue to try to get that message out. And I think we also, in the math sciences community, have to take seriously our responsibility to think about not only how we teach, but also what we teach. Nobody but the math sciences community can take the lead in that conversation. So that's another critical reason for us to engage in the discussions at the national level for what's going on. So, a lot of hard work to do. I think this conference can contribute to our ability to participate in these discussions and to do better jobs for our students and for our nation. Again, thank you very much for being here, and I'll look forward to the next couple of days.
Thank you, Michael. And Mr. Lucas usually waits till the end of the program to talk, but he actually has a few words to get us going right now.
Well, welcome again to Austin. Your presence is important to me and to our various projects. They may prove important nationally and, of course, will be important for the country. Thanks for your efforts, and thanks to the MAA for everything you do. Angie and Jackie, thanks for your entire committee. The 10 names were on the list earlier. They've done a wonderful job in putting together a very interesting program. And they have left enough time between sessions for what I guess I should say equally important, networking during the coffee breaks. And this meeting is also important for several reasons. One, there's some noteworthy people attending this 16th annual RLM conference. We've got experienced and successful leaders, teachers, administrators, researchers. They're here to help the new IBL practitioners. I strongly recommend that you meet the people who have experienced some of the problems that we all go through when we're trying to be successful. Talk to the old-timers during the breaks. They may have suggestions for some of the things that you are experiencing. I read a quote somewhere about the most important work in the world, and I include non-routine challenges of the IBL type. And the quote was something, I don't remember exactly what it was, but something to the effect that most of that work is done by people who do not particularly feel very good at the time. At the time they're making these important breakthroughs on those difficult challenges. I feel confident that your use of IBL will help your students develop their potential, their calling, whether it be leadership in some field or group, or just getting through the everyday business of living. Churchill promised blood, sweat, and tears. Well, research in mathematics is in that category, but not that bad, I hope. Maybe not that bad. Even when unsuccessful, we find that failure can often lead to unusual success, and that experience is transferable to lifelong learning. Also, IBL teaching is hard work, but very rewarding. Be sure to share your success stories, write them up. I'm talking about specific names, dates, and try to follow those students in their career. During this conference, please share also your best practices in IBL teaching. We are looking forward to the future and how best to keep the momentum going. 2 final thoughts. Bill behavior when advising future teachers usually included some remarks or discussion showing why and how and why it was important to make the work fun. And the camaraderie and the fellowship that developed partially resulted from the class as a whole trying to solve the problem sequence through their individual efforts. He also stressed the importance of well-designed hints, H-I-N-T-S, and other timely suggestions, including doing nothing. That's over 30 seconds, I know. Now, if I'd have told you what that was beforehand, it would have taken the tension away, but this was unpleasant for me. I hope it was unpleasant for you. So I believe that making it fun was part of the reason for Bill Behavior's long career in successful teaching. I thought of a sentence I read somewhere which is especially applicable. It applies to a situation when we get stuck or in the middle of a controversy. And I believe the quote is as follows: "We absolutely insist on enjoying life." So enjoy the conference. It'll be very interesting. One final thank you. If I want to get back into the office on Monday, into my office, and that's to our fine team. I hope they're around, led by Norma Flores. Is Norma here? Well, we'll get her to read to look at the video anyway. Norma Flores and Robin Bush and all their office helpers. And Fane Brock, I'm pretty sure Fane is here, and Deborah Cole. They make the money that helps pay for the EAF effort. So please join me in a big round of thanks to them. Thank you.